have to happen, especially with new knowledge. I mean, 50 years ago, we didn't even really know that red wine and red meat was going to cause all these problems, right? Like, we didn't know that excess grease, and we just knew that the more you eat, the healthier you were, because that's what the Greeks did, right? The Romans did. That was what they, if you were starving and emaciated, you were not healthy.
Yeah.
When you were overweight, you were a healthy person, right? Like,
yeah.
that's what it looked like in the past. Now we know that all those things, you know, can lead to heart disease and stroke and diabetes and complications of diabetes. Oh God. Right. So we know that we can prevent some things. My goal is not to prevent death. Okay. I say this to my patients. They all know this. My goal is to hopefully minimize suffering and even prevent suffering, because acknowledging, being aware, understanding, educating yourself, right? Like, about my family history, about what I can do, what I can't do, what I'm predisposed to doing and having, and then like even pushing it off longer. So, you know, if my mom has diabetes, if my dad has diabetes, it is likely that I will get diabetes one day. Okay. That's it. But hopefully I will get it when I'm 90, not 50. So if I do these X, Y, and Z things, that the likelihood will start shifting towards 50 versus 90. And so that's really the whole thing. And then of course, like, it's easy to say all these things, but how do you put it into practice? That's where the like coaching comes in. That's how you think marathon runners, okay, maybe not marathon runners, because I feel like they're a whole different breed. They're self-motivated, but like Olympic runners, okay? Michael Phelps, Olympic swimmers, right? Like Lance Armstrong, those bikers, they are, yes, somewhat predisposed. They have genetic predisposition to being great swimmers, runners, and bikers, okay? But they didn't do it with no coaching. Come on. They did it with coaching. They need somebody that's on the sidelines, that there's cheerleader, that will tweak slightly, that will help you remember your why, and that you actually can. Because sometimes faith is just not enough, because those thoughts are not always believable. I have been working on getting stronger for like 5 years. Okay. I am stronger than I was 5 years ago, but if I had a personal trainer, I'm sure I would be doing a lot more than I already am. I'm just afraid. Like, and so I'm okay with being slow about it. Now, if you told me I have diabetes tomorrow, I bet you that would speed up my decision of getting a coach. I don't want it to happen, but I'm just saying, right? Like, so sometimes those are the catalysts. I have many patients that come in to see me for the first time because they did like a random glucose check at the grocery store and it was high. And they were like, oh, you need to see a doctor ASAP. Okay, but I wish I could have been here 10 years ago. Nonetheless, let's discuss this up today. I'm going to see you every other week for the next month, every other week for the next 3 months. And then after that, right? This is just human nature. Out of sight, out of mind. If you don't have somebody helping you, being your cheerleader, coaching you, that has the knowledge and expertise, it's very hard to do by yourself. And not impossible. Not impossible.
Not impossible, but harder.
But just
it makes it tougher.
You can do it a little faster and hopefully get the result you want sooner and prevent all the complications of those things down the line.
Exactly. Yeah, I love it. The pandemic promoted you to formalize your coaching program. Your coaching training, can you share any specific experiences or insights from this period that reinforced the importance of holistic well-being and coaching in healthcare?
Oh, man. I think that my patients got so lucky because I was learning coaching. So I would automatically coach them in my practice and they just showed up. So it was, a great access to practice. And some of my patients that really had a turnaround moment, I had been seeing for many years, every 3 to 6 months for many years. 2 on the top of my head had diabetes. And after one session of like talking about diabetes, et cetera, and then actually implementing my coaching tools, just a few questions, a few tweaks, behavioral decisions and changes, they were literally in tears. I mean, I don't really feel like I did anything. I always equate time to quality and results. And I guess what I learned was it's not always time that equals quality, that equals results. It's actually like very honed in skills that turned into behavioral changes, that turned into results. And they were both like literally in tears, like, you have gone above and beyond. And I mean, I was kind of surprised almost, or taken aback, because I didn't really feel like it was anything different that I'd done differently from before. But that little tweak, that little tool that was just that much more honed in, really has made a difference in at least their lives. I know that probably more, but off the top of my head, those are the two.
Yeah, the power of a tweak, just a minor adjustment. That makes all the difference in being hot in a house and cold. Like the degree is 70, it's on 70. Just do it on 71. Like, what is that going to change? But it makes a difference. Or 69 to 70 or 74. Just a small degree change makes a total difference in someone's trajectory, how they feel about themselves, what they think, how they are now viewing the world, and how they are a part of this world. Now that can help them to, like, I wanted to live longer, or I wanted to be able to run around with my children or my grandchildren, or see my next generation, or be able to become, promoting on this job. But because of my health, I'm not able to do those things. So us looking at it, it may be like, oh, that's small, but for them, it's a game changer. It helps others to fulfill their life of abundance the way they see it, but they just didn't know how. It's the missing piece, that puzzle. If you miss a puzzle, like, darn it, the whole puzzle is just, I'm almost there. It won't be complete. But when you give someone that puzzle, that piece that they're looking for, they're missing, they can see the picture better. They can see how their life is going to come into fruition. You advocate for a balanced lifestyle encompassing healthy eating, exercise, and enjoyment. How do you help your patients and clients find their equilibrium, especially when they face various challenges in their lives?
So I think the first thing to say is that I officially throw the word balance out. There is no such thing as equal balance. You may be balancing, but you're constantly balancing all of those things. Health, both physical and mental, and then fun. It can actually all happen at the same time. Many times we think about one or the other, but you actually can do all of those things at the same time without feeling overwhelmed. Meaning, like I alluded to, just having different categories in your life. So like relationship, career, family, I think that some days I have more time and I spend more time on focusing on my family things. Some day, like last week, I spent 4 hours driving my kids around to all their things in the evening. That is not every day, for example. This evening we have one thing going on and we're going to do like family stuff. We're going to cook dinner. Like, on average, it's all about on average, right? And really intentionally deciding that I'm going to be doing more family stuff today. I'm going to be doing less family stuff tomorrow. I've got a full day of like work and office and patients the next day, et cetera, et cetera. Like it doesn't have to be 20, 20, 20, 20, 20 every day. If you're going to give 10% of this today, then you're probably going to give 30% another day. I think it just depends on the day and really truly deciding that that's how it's going to happen instead of realizing that that's how it happened. So on that day, my husband was out of town. I was driving the kids around. I already knew. I wasn't trying to do a million other things at the same time, right? Like I was like, this is what's happening today. I have to drive them here. Then I have to do this. Then I have to go home and make dinner. Then I've got to go pick them up. Then I got to take one to here. I got to drop them one off at home. Like I had to pick up my cousin at the airport and I already knew that all of this stuff was going to happen. So I was like, I can't even believe I just spent 4 hours in the car off and on, dropping back and forth to my house and activities, et cetera. And I know many people do this on a daily basis, but then don't set yourself up for failure. Like don't decide, oh, that's also the day that I'm going to read my 3 chapters of my book. Okay, well, probably not. Or that's also the day that I'm going to make a gourmet meal and, bake cookies for school tomorrow. Okay, well, just don't set yourself up. I mean, yes, you can say, oh, I did all those things. Been there, done that. I've also done it, right? Like made food, dropped it off at my friend's house, made cookies for next day and my kids' homework and my book, etc. Because I said, oh, I did all those things. Like I feel so productive because I did all those things. But I feel productive is actually not a feeling. I was productive and I feel exhausted. What's the point?
Right. feeling versus being.
Right.
And you want to be, you want to know that you are, because productivity, I want to lay down in bed and still feel energized and not like, oh my gosh, where's my bed?
Yeah.
There's a difference, because you're exhausted. You have nothing left to give, because you're supposed, the things I feel like they're supposed to minister back to us or serve us is what I would say.
Yeah.
Everything that we do is supposed to give us it's supposed to pour back into us. Taking children, food to school, or, baking cookies for the next day, or whatever the case may be, what we are having our hand in. If after the day is complete and we've done all the tasks, all the things, and if we don't feel like I did that versus I don't want to do that again, then it didn't serve. You weren't served. You're supposed to be able to have some sort of energy for the next day or for the next, So yeah, I love that, feeling versus being. Your belief. This is the last question. I'm going to let you go. I just enjoyed our conversation. And I pray that I hope that the viewers are really blessed by this conversation. It was very fun, energetic, engaging, all the things. Your belief that everyone can become their best self with the right system, support, and accountability is powerful. Could you share an inspiring example or success story where you've witnessed this transformation in action through your coaching?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think that, to be honest, I think all my clients have this kind of outcome. Otherwise, I probably failed. But building this system together, right? Like everybody's system is different. So having goals is one thing. Like having the destination on your map is, of course, important. But you've got to also know the route to get there. Like if there's an accident on the road, you need to detour. This is all part of it. If you need to turn right at the next corner, don't turn left or don't go straight, right? Like this is part of the system. If going to a class at the gym is the only thing in your head, for example, I have to go to Zoom. I only like Zumba class on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. And then if I don't do that, I don't do anything, is not really serving us anymore, like you said, right? My goal isn't to go to Zumba class. My goal is to be healthier. Then let's just put movement as our thing and not necessarily, again, set ourselves up for disappointment. Now, of course, you can go to Zumba class on Wednesdays at 7 p.m., but if it gets canceled and you show up there, going home with your tail between your legs is not serving you. So have a backup plan, have a system, have the plan of what things you're going to do, and they can change. In Atomic Habits, I alluded to that again. He talks about how it's easy to get bored. So when you have I go to the gym a few times a week and I usually do the elliptical and I totally get it. I get bored. I'm bored of the elliptical after so many minutes. And now today I finally pushed myself as I had time and actually did 55 minutes. I've never done 55 minutes on the elliptical before. So I just decided, yeah, you're right. I do get bored. I'm going to change up my variety program. And so that's one thing. And then the other thing is support, right? Like I have the support of my husband, for example. I have the support of having a car to drive myself to the gym. But if I don't have those things, it doesn't mean I can't put it on a YouTube video at home. Like all these words of support. And of course, I have my coach who helps me remember that I'm doing the things today because I want my future self to thank me. So I do the things to do today because I'm thinking about my future me, the identity of my future me. And then, of course, accountability, because we're human. There's no such thing as doing all these things on your own. I want to tell you that we're all super self-motivated and we should be super self-motivated. I think that's something we all tell ourselves. We should be super self-motivated to read a book a month, to exercise 30 minutes a day, to get up at 4:30 if need be, to stay up till 8:30 and exercise, to take my kids on a walk, to read to my kids, to play a board. I don't know. I should be self-motivated to do all these things, to eat more fruits and vegetables, to go grocery shopping, to go to the farmer's market. You can tell I've shoulded myself a lot. Okay. So, I should be motivated, but I'm human. And motivation is not something, you know what? I'm not willing to sit around and wait for myself to be inspired and motivated. So I'm going to put it on my things to do. And it's going to be on my list of things to do. And I know why it's there. It's not just a set of things to do. It's actually part of my why. So when I break it down and I go back a little bit and I'm like, my why is in 2023, I want to be healthier physically and mentally. That means reading 15 minutes a day or listening to my audiobook and eating more fruits and vegetables. Not that I have to eat, 17 heads of broccoli this year, but rather just some grapes and some apple every day. Just start there.
Exactly. The best way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time.
So true.
One bite at a time. Thank you so much, Dr. Amita, for joining us on another episode or conversation of What's Your I Can, Realize Your I Can in Purpose, Business, and Family. Tell us, how can we connect with you further? If the listeners want to work with you, how can they reach out to you?
Probably my website. It has all my stuff, my email, my phone number, dramitakumar.com. So just AMITAKUMAR.com.
Awesomeness. You all heard it here. You heard the conversation. You heard the gems. You heard the wisdoms. You heard the knowledge that was shared here. So make sure you do something today to help you reach your future self. She talked about the future me. I love my future me. I'm always telling my future me is always reaching back to let me know, Kristy, you can do it. This is where we are. You just have to go through the process. So I appreciate you all for joining in on today. Listen, the What's Your I Can book club offers a wonderful opportunity for meaningful connections and introspective discussions. By joining together in dialogue, we can gently nudge ourselves to question our existing perspectives and fearlessly embrace fresh approaches to life, leadership, and love. This exchange of thoughts and viewpoints allows us the precious chance to delve into our inner selves, fostering personal growth and potentially inspiring positive transformations. So if you have not gotten your copy of What's Your I Can, Realize Your I Can in Purpose, Business, and Family, I encourage you to do so now and join us in the book club, because we are kickstarting our book club starting on the 16th of this month. And we're already making mad moves in the book club. People are already getting transformed and their mindset is shifting into a place of greater, into a place of better, and realizing their I can, as I stated, in purpose, business, and family. Until then, thank you all so much for joining us. We love you and have a blessed and prosperous day.